Have you ever found yourself in the middle of a heated argument, feeling your emotions spiral out of control? You're not alone. Today, we're diving into 5 powerful ways to stay calm during conflicts and control your emotions. In the heat of the moment, arguments can feel overwhelming, like everything is stacking against you. Before you know it, you're caught up in a whirlwind of frustration. But here's the thing. Staying calm isn't something that just happens. It's a choice, and it's within your power. In this video, we'll explore practical strategies inspired by Stoicism. These techniques aren't about avoiding conflict or bottling up your feelings. They're about learning how to handle tough situations with a clear mind and a steady heart. There's no need for complicated hacks or deep meditations. Just a few small changes can make a huge difference in how you handle disagreements. Before we begin, please subscribe and tap the notification bell so you never miss out on more ways to improve your emotional control. Are you ready to take control of your reactions? Let's dive right in. Understand that staying calm is a choice. Arguments have a way of gripping you and pulling you into chaos before you even realize what's happening. Your heart races, your palms sweat, and your words spill out like a flood. In moments like this, it's easy to believe you're at the mercy of your emotions. But here's the truth. Staying calm might be your best option, but it isn't something that just happens. It's something you choose. Think of emotions during an argument like waves on an ocean. When the storm hits, the waves rise high, crashing powerfully. But beneath the surface, there's calm. This is what Stoicism teaches us. While external factors may stir the waters, we have the power to anchor ourselves. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. When you realize this, you will find strength." This strength begins when you realize you don't have to fight the waves. You just need to let them pass. The science behind this is straightforward. When confronted with conflict, our fight or flight response kicks in, flooding the brain with adrenaline and narrowing our focus. This biological reaction was designed to protect us from physical danger, not verbal disagreements. Today, it can turn a simple misunderstanding into an emotional battlefield. Pausing for just a moment helps break this cycle. You can practice reclaiming your calm when tension rises. Stop and take a single deep breath. Inhale for 4 counts, hold for 4, and exhale for 4. This simple act tells your brain it's safe, helping you regain control. Then ask yourself, what truly matters in this moment? This question redirects your focus from winning the argument to staying grounded. Shift your perspective. Another helpful technique is seeing the situation from an outside view. Imagine you're watching the argument from a distance, as though it were happening between 2 strangers. From this perspective, it's easier to see what's fueling the conflict and recognize that reacting impulsively will only make things worse. This gives you the power to respond thoughtfully, not emotionally. Staying calm is a choice, even in the heat of an argument. It's not about suppressing your feelings. It's about pausing long enough to let the storm pass. When you practice this pause, you'll start to see arguments less as threats and more as opportunities to strengthen your emotional control. After all, true control begins when you realize that, while you can't control the waves, you can always learn to surf. The power of listening over speaking. Arguments often feel like a contest to see who can speak the loudest or defend their point the quickest. But what if the secret to staying calm wasn't about speaking at all? What if the real power came from listening? Most of us don't realize this, but arguments escalate when both sides are too busy planning their next rebuttal instead of understanding the other person. Silence, when intentional, is not a weakness, it's a strategy. When emotions run high, the natural impulse is to interrupt or rush to defend yourself. It feels urgent, like if you don't speak right now, you'll lose ground. But here's the reality. Interrupting fuels the fire. It signals that you're not listening, which often makes the other person feel unheard and frustrated. Listening, on the other hand, does the opposite. It de-escalates tension, diffuses anger, and usually gives you insight into what the argument is actually about. Think of an argument as a dance. You can't move smoothly if you're too focused on anticipating your next step. Instead, you have to stay present and pay attention to your partner's rhythm. Listening works the same way. It helps you tune into the deeper emotions and needs behind someone's words. Practice reflective listening. You can try this practice to unlock the power of listening. Reflective listening. This means repeating or summarizing what the other person has said, not to mimic them, but to show you understand. For example, if someone says, "You never consider my opinion when we make decisions," resist the urge to jump in defensively. Instead, respond with something like, "It sounds like you feel I don't take your input seriously. Is that right?" This slight shift changes the tone of the conversation. It shows you're not just reacting, but genuinely trying to understand, which often softens the other person's stance. Control your body language. Another tool to help you listen better is to control your body language. Arguments aren't just about words, they're also about what your posture and gestures are communicating. Crossed arms, a raised voice, or even rolling your eyes can send the message that you're not open to hearing the other person. Instead, practice open body language. Uncross your arms, maintain soft eye contact, and nod occasionally to show you're engaged. These cues tell the other person that you're open to listening and understanding their perspective. Other people feel safe to express themselves, which often reduces their defensiveness. Stoicism teaches us the importance of controlling our impulses. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Most of what we say and do is not essential. Ask yourself at every moment, is this necessary?" This is especially true in arguments. Often, the urge to speak is driven by ego, the need to prove we're right, or to defend our pride. But when you listen first, you're not giving up your power, you're using it wisely. You're showing restraint, which is the ultimate form of strength. The next time you find yourself in the middle of a heated discussion, pause and commit to listening more than speaking. Ask yourself, what is this person really trying to tell me? What emotions are behind their words? You might be surprised by what you discover. Listening doesn't just calm the argument. It shifts the focus from conflict to connection. When you make the other person feel heard, you're far more likely to resolve the issue with mutual respect. In a time where everyone is eager to be understood, be the person who first seeks to understand. True calm isn't about winning the argument or dominating the conversation. It's about controlling yourself so well that even silence becomes your greatest tool. Learn to see an argument as collaboration. Arguments often feel like a battle, a clash of egos where one person emerges victorious and the other is left defeated, especially when emotions are high. But what if an argument didn't have to be a battlefield? What if, instead of being opponents, you and the other person could be teammates working together toward a solution? Shifting this perspective is one of the most powerful ways to stay calm and diffuse conflict. Most arguments escalate because they're fueled by the me versus you mentality. Each person feels attacked, acts defensively, and is determined to prove their point. But think of this. If the ultimate goal is to solve a problem, does it really matter who's right? Arguments shouldn't be about victory, they should be about understanding. Marcus Aurelius captured this perfectly when he said, "Be tolerant with others and strict with yourself." This wisdom reminds us that true strength lies in bridging gaps, not widening them. Think of an argument as a boat caught in rough waters. If you and the other person row in opposite directions, the boat spins in circles, going nowhere. But if you can shift your focus and row together toward understanding, compromise and resolution, you move forward. The storm may still be crashing all around you, but the boat stays steady because you're working as a team. This shift doesn't just calm the argument, it transforms it into an opportunity for connection. To learn to see an argument as collaboration, start by changing your language. Words are powerful, and in the heat of conflict, they can either escalate or disarm. Instead of saying, "You always do this," or "You never listen," which only puts the other person on edge, try, "How can we figure this out together?" Or, "What can we both do to make this better?" This shift from you to we may seem small, but it creates a sense of partnership instead of blame. It signals that you're not attacking them, you're inviting them to solve the problem with you. Another way to approach collaboration is to find common ground, even when you strongly disagree. For example, let's say you're arguing about how to split household responsibilities. Instead of focusing on what the other person isn't doing, acknowledge what you both value: a clean home, fairness, and teamwork. Once you establish that shared foundation, you can build solutions together instead of tearing each other down. It's also essential to focus on the issue at hand rather than attacking the person. Criticizing someone's character, "You're so lazy," or "You're always selfish," shifts the argument into a personal attack, which guarantees defensiveness and hostility. Instead, address the behavior or the problem itself. "I feel overwhelmed when the chores pile up. Can we figure out a way to split them more evenly?" This approach separates the person from the problem, making collaboration possible. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control. You can't control how someone else reacts, but you can control how you approach the conversation. When you prioritize collaboration over competition, you take the first step toward diffusing conflict. You're no longer trying to win, you're trying to find a solution that works for both sides. This mindset not only calms the argument, but also builds trust and strengthens relationships. Ask yourself during your next disagreement, am I trying to understand this person, or am I trying to prove them wrong? If it's the latter, take a moment to think. Remind yourself that arguments aren't about conquering the other person. They're about finding a way forward together. Collaboration doesn't mean giving up your values or staying silent when you disagree. It means bringing empathy and mutual respect into the conversation. When you learn to see an argument as collaboration, it transforms from a source of stress into a space for growth. You're no longer opponents on a battlefield, you're teammates rowing toward the same goal. In that change, you'll find calm, clarity, and solutions that honor both sides. Master your body to master your mind. Your body often tells the truth before your words do. A clenched jaw, raised shoulders, shallow breathing. These physical signs reveal that tension has taken over long before you notice it. In an argument, your body and mind are like two sides of the same coin. One feeds the other. If your body is tense, your mind will follow suit, amplifying anger or defensiveness. But the reverse is also true. When you calm your body, your mind begins to settle too. Think of your body as the steering wheel of your emotions. Arguments are like driving through a storm. If your grip tightens on the wheel or your foot slams the accelerator, the situation feels more dangerous than it is. But if you loosen your grip and slow your pace, suddenly the storm becomes manageable. Stoicism reminds us of the importance of controlling external reactions to maintain inner peace. As Marcus Aurelius put it, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Mastering your body is one of the most direct ways to exert this power. Start with your breath. It's the simplest, most effective tool to bring your body back to a state of calm. In the middle of an argument, when you feel the tension rising, try this. Inhale deeply through your nose for 4 counts, hold for 4 counts, and exhale slowly through your mouth for 6 counts. Repeat this cycle 3 or 4 times. This activates your parasympathetic nervous system, the part of your brain that tells your body it's safe, which helps reduce feelings of anger and anxiety. Next, focus on releasing physical tension. Arguments tend to make us brace without even realizing it. Your shoulders creep toward your ears, your fists clench, and your muscles stiffen as if preparing for a fight. Consciously scan your body for these signs of tension and release them. Drop your shoulders, try to unclench your jaw, and open your hands. These small adjustments may seem insignificant, but they send a powerful message to your brain. There is no threat here. Your posture also plays a crucial role. Think about how you physically position yourself in arguments. Do you cross your arms defensively? Do you lean forward aggressively? Your posture communicates as much as your words do, and it can either escalate or de-escalate the situation. Try adopting an open, non-threatening stance. Keep your arms relaxed at your sides or rest them on a table. Sit or stand with an upright but soft posture, confident yet approachable. This not only helps calm your mind, but also signals to the other person that you're not a threat, which can help diffuse their defensiveness. It's important to also watch the tone of your voice. You might not think of it as part of your body, but your voice carries the emotional undercurrent of your words. A raised, sharp tone can trigger an equally hostile response, while a steady, measured tone encourages calm. If you feel your voice rising, consciously lower it and slow down your speech. The deliberate act of softening your tone can create a ripple effect, encouraging the other person to mirror your calmness. These physical adjustments, breathing deeply, releasing tension, adopting an open posture, and softening your tone, are small, practical steps, but their impact is profound. They work because they help you step out of the fight or flight mode that fuels arguments. When your body is relaxed, your mind is free to think clearly, listen actively, and respond thoughtfully. It's also worth practicing these techniques outside of arguments so they become second nature. For example, at the end of your day, try to check for how your body has reacted to tension throughout the day. Pay attention to your breathing during stressful moments at work or home. These habits build a foundation of calm that you can draw from when conflicts arise. Stoicism teaches us that true strength lies in self-control. Controlling your body might seem like a small piece of the puzzle, but it's foundational. By controlling your physical state, you create the conditions for emotional clarity. And when your mind is calm, you can face any argument with the grace and composure of someone who truly understands their own power. Let go of the need to win. Winning feels good, doesn't it? That rush of satisfaction when you prove your point or land the perfect comeback in an argument. It's tempting to aim for victory at all costs, especially when emotions are running high. But here's the hard truth. Winning an argument often comes at the expense of something far more valuable: peace, understanding, and connection. Most conflicts aren't about surface-level disagreements. They're driven by ego, the need to protect yourself, prove your worth, or avoid feeling wrong. The need to win can blind you to the bigger picture. Ask yourself, what's the cost of being right? Does winning this argument strengthen your relationship, or does it create distance? Does it bring resolution, or does it leave a trail of resentment? Marcus Aurelius understood this dilemma well when he said, "How much more grievous are the consequences of anger than the causes of it?" In other words, the damage done in the heat of the argument often outweighs whatever started it. Letting go of the need to win doesn't mean giving up or agreeing with something you don't believe in. It means shifting your focus from dominating the conversation to understanding it. Think of an argument as a fire. When you feed it with ego-driven responses, sarcasm, defensiveness, or blame, it grows hotter and harder to control. But when you choose to step back, pause, and let the flames die down, the fire eventually extinguishes itself. One way to let go of the need to win is to practice humility. This doesn't mean lowering your worth. It means recognizing that your perspective isn't the only one that matters. During an argument, ask yourself, is it possible that I'm missing something here? What can I learn from the other person's viewpoint? This mindset creates space for curiosity and empathy, which are essential for resolving conflict. Another powerful tool is learning to say, "You might be right." These 4 words don't mean you're conceding defeat. Instead, they signal that you're willing to listen and consider the other person's perspective. This simple phrase has a disarming effect. It diffuses tension and opens the door to a more collaborative conversation. You're not agreeing just to keep the peace. You're showing the other person that you value their input, which often inspires them to do the same. It's also helpful to think about the argument's long-term impact. Imagine looking back on this conflict a week, a month, or even a year from now. Will it still matter? In most cases, the answer is no. This realization can be freeing. It reminds you that some battles aren't worth fighting, and that preserving the relationship is often more important than winning the debate. Letting go of the need to win also means being okay with unresolved disagreements. Not every argument needs a perfect resolution. Sometimes agreeing to disagree is the best outcome, especially if it means maintaining mutual respect. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control, and that includes accepting that we can't always change someone else's mind. During your next argument, try this. Take a moment to ask yourself, what truly matters? Is proving your point worth the strain it puts on the relationship? Is the argument helping you grow, or is it feeding your ego? These reflections can help you shift your focus from victory to understanding, from conflict to connection. When we prioritize understanding over winning, we create space for compromise. Arguments, when approached thoughtfully, can become opportunities for deeper understanding and personal growth. By consciously choosing to listen, reflect, and value the relationship over the need to be right, we pave the way for stronger bonds and healthier communication. Remember, the most meaningful victories are those that strengthen, not weaken, the connections that matter most.